This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City. Hello, I'm John Cullum, and my wife, Emily Frankel, is right here.
And I've got an idea.
What is that, Em?
I would like you to talk about the days, a long time ago, very long time ago.
Yes.
When we were in Hawaii and you were shooting one of the missionaries. You were playing a missionary in Hawaii, that film that starred Julie Andrews and
Max von Sydow and Richard Harris.
Yes. Wonderful Richard Harris and Max. Oh, woo, what a cast.
Yes. And
remember arriving there and where we had to stay?
At the Ilikai,
on
the 26th floor. Yeah, that would.
I looked out the window.
Yeah.
It looked like a picture postcard.
Yeah.
But at the time, remember, they were reconstructing the hotel.
Yes.
So I'd look out and see the picture,
derricks and all that stuff.
And the derricks, and the guys were sewing earlier in the morning. And I was stuck in the room because I don't like to go out into the sunshine. I can't. I freckle. And
you were writing a novel at the time.
I started my first novel.
Yes, and so you would close the curtains so you didn't have to look at the postcard.
Did you think that was silly?
Well, it was unusual, but you were an unusual person.
Did you know I was unusual back in those days?
Absolutely.
You knew I was unusual from the moment you first saw me.
That's right. I said, well, who is this woman?
Boy.
Oh, who is this gal?
Okay, so talk about you and Gene Hackman, how you guys struggled.
Well, we were supposed to. We went through a lot of different problems with that movie, but one of the things that we were supposed to do was to age from 26 years old to 87.
Was it 87?
Oh, something like that. But
wow.
We had all these different heads that had been designed and showed each one of us going from one age to another. I remember Gene had to tape up his neck in order to look 26. And,
wow.
And then, of course, he aged. They never got to 87 because they only did half the movie.
And they had terrible weather problem. Remember, there was supposed to be what happens after an earthquake?
There was a tidal wave.
We were in tidal wave alerts, and
that's
then we
right.
quickly go shoot, and then a tidal wave alert. Woo!
Yeah. Well, anyway, Gene and I and the other missionary sat around most of the time. We were there for 3 months, and then later on, when
good news happened for you.
Yeah, what do you want to tell that?
Well, Gene Hackman was just a struggling actor back in those days, like John.
Yes.
And all struggling actors worry about their future, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so worrying about their future, John got a phone call. Yeah. And the phone call was
from Boston.
From Alan Lerner's assistant, Bud Whitney, who happens to be a friend of ours now. And they wanted John Zoom immediately to come to Boston, replace Louis Jourdan in On a Clear Day.
Yes, and I had my name above the title at that, and it was an extraordinary thing for me.
And poor Gene Hackman. Oh,
yeah.
Remember what he said?
I ran into Gene on the street in New York while I was still in the play. In the musical.
In the play, you mean in
the musical?
In On a Clear Day.
Yes,
right.
And he was looking very bedraggled and kind of crestfallen. Things weren't going too well for him, and he said, "Oh gosh, John, I wish I'd learned how to sing." And I said, "Well, it's never too late, Gene. You keep in there, baby. You're gonna make it, maybe."
Can you imagine John Cullum giving Gene Hackman courage, and then Gene went on to be the big star that he is.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is
there's another story that I didn't tell you about. His character was married to Bette Midler, who was his wife, she was the missionary's wife. And
and she was a sexy girl because those days. Woo!
She came to New York and made a big splash too.
Well, one of the things I wanted to say very quickly is Gene and John are different right now. John is continuing acting, taking whatever comes along and doing it because he wants to stay active. And Gene Hackman has said about 4 years ago he will not pay any more parts in movies. He doesn't want to be dying grandpas. John, Cullum.
Yeah, I've died about 7 times in the last 2 years on television.
I think that's extraordinary.
Well,
Yay for John Cullum and yay for Gene Hackman.
yeah, well, I'm enjoying keeping going with my career, regardless of what the project is.
I'm enjoying you keeping going with your career.
And Gene is enjoying the fruits of his career. But we both enjoyed a good career together. And I love being with Emily now. And it's time for us to sign off. We'll see you next week, okay?
Goodbye.
This is AI.R. See you next week.